So just give some permission on that, pretty please. I know we had a few more people who were texting me of like, the link isn't working. Yeah, I know. Yeah. And thanks for graciousness with me as we were a little late and misaligned and all of that. But let's open up by kind of like playing with this idea. I think surrender is a trigger word for me because fuck surrender and what does that mean? But I can certainly say that us being able to move into the void space instead of like what's next or trying to move forward, that's been showing up for everybody of like, there's nothing next, this is everything. What if this is everything? Oh my God, can I still find the joy in it? So let's just do a little bit of breathing with that to let you move into the yin, into the void, into the quiet. Oh, that's not what you want. Okay, fine. What would you? Oh, okay. Well, that's a great idea. Great idea. And with this, I want you to really come into belly. Letting your belly extend to move all of that energy down there. To be able to find the joy in right now. And the vision that I see is almost like all of your mummy bandages being unwrapped. And you not having a clue of how to put it back together. Why would you? Why do you think you should? Thanks. And Neberchur is the one who's offering Nephthys. To rest in her tomb and womb. The womb of your becoming. And she's asking specifically that you hand over to her anything that you're tired of being in your story. Don't just let it unravel for you. Tell that motherfucker what you want to unravel. Show her the thread to full. Not for what you want, but for what you don't want. And I'm going to invite you in here too to just take a little bit of a scan and see if there's any attachment or expectation of suffering. Do you think you need to suffer to get strong or to gain lessons? Oh, I feel that for one of you, there's like this self-punishment that keeps coming in the suffering. Ask that to be the string that's unraveled. Ooh, a lot of judgments. Let the judgments go. Sam Na'em. Sam Na'em. Sam Na'em. Sam Na'em. And I want you to come in with that Sam Na'em with a ooah hooah. 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 Making sure that you allow these cows to support you. Best supporting you when spoken aloud. Who gives a shit if they think you're crazy? We are crazy! And nobody's paying attention. Because they're so caught up in their own anxiety and drama and bullshit. Ooh-ah, ooh-ah. I want big, pregnant belly breath now, please. Moving anything out of these places of stagnation, anything you've been keeping in the backs of your basement. Whew. For me, they just showed me like it's also in my back. It's not just in my belly. Fuck. So go down underneath those kidneys. Breathing all the way through the spine. Handing it over to Nephthys or Isis. Who can put it all back together better than you. Whew. Great. Opening your eyes when you're ready. Nice job, loves. How'd it feel? Great. You're all on mute, so I can't hear you if you're saying anything, but the nods are sweet enough.
I've missed them, the Isis and all the ones that worked so much with before. I feel like I've been distracted, and it feels good to come home to that.
Is distracted a judgment?
Probably, yeah. Isn't
I don't think you've been
everything?
distracted. I think you've been in other places.
I've been very busy with other things. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's not make it a distraction because that's not the case.
Yeah.
One of the things we played with in Dream School last round was the netters are in everything. The netters are not just Egyptian. So, yeah, we can work with Mother Mary and find Isis there. We can work with Magdalene and find Nephthys there. I was working. I want to make sure it's okay to share that because that's pretty personal shit, y'all. Not sharing. Got it. I'll hold it for a little while longer. Noted. Hi, Michael. Glad you're here. But yeah, just recognize that we don't need to just make this Egyptian because that would be a misstep as well. The pathways and the cows are older than any religion or any cosmology. These are the source codes. I like, when I work with the runes, I recognize those as source codes as well. There are a few that were dropped in for us. The Ur-Hercow. Ur-Hercow, the great Hercow. Those great sounds of the universe that it started coming together with. And then you can find things in the Egyptian that also show up in the Sanskrit. Also show up in the Kahuna and the Huna lineages. It's crazy. It's cool. Hey, Becca! Becca was the one who was texting me like, hey, the link isn't working. And I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to drive home. Well, it'll be a minute. So thank you for sending out that message, honey. And then I left Mimi a long ramble about it. So, you know. The shooting in Uvalde, I think, is stirring things up. Let me see if I can say it differently. My client today was at Columbine when that occurred. So to watch what is now a pattern of this the level of trauma that can't ever really be healed all the way, the the illogic of it, right? The brain can't come to any type of peace with it. Can't. And very easy to blame the one who's holding the gun without recognizing the society that caused that young man to feel like that. So I ask you to be compassionate, not toward anyone who hurt anybody, but just recognizing that there's something bigger at play. And so Dylan and, now I forgot your name, sweet little love, Eric. Eric and Dylan were the ones who did Columbine in, I don't even know what year that was. It's been a while. And because I'm here in Colorado, I've had a couple of encounters with them. But I asked her today, like, what, obviously there's fear, right? As these young men are going around with guns, there's fear. Yep. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, but what else is the energy that's going on there? And it was grief. Like, they aren't doing this for power. They aren't doing this because they're angry. They aren't doing this. I don't know. That's what I want to say. I don't know. Except it's so fucking complicated, and over, it's a failure of our society to connect with compassion to these individuals. And what Eric and Dylan showed me today was their capacity for compassion was never developed. Didn't exist, wasn't there. So they may have thought it was a video game, may have had fun with this adrenaline rush until they realized what the fuck they had done, and then they killed each other because they saw there was no other way out. Thoughts, comments, feelings?
I do have a question. Because in my hometown, about a little over a year ago, we had a shooter as well. And before that happened, and before this most current one happened, I felt a lot of feelings that I knew weren't mine the day or two before.
Got it.
And I'm like struggling with, like, why do I get to feel that, or am I feeling that if I don't know enough to do anything, or just
So
even to prepare, or like, it's just a lot.
I can speak to my experience with the Aurora shooting, which was, I felt that very presently about 4 hours before he started doing anything. I was maybe 6 miles away, but again, not knowing what this energy was in my body, I was overcome by like anger, which y'all know me. I do boundaries. I don't do fucking anger. Like, if you get me to anger, we got other issues. But I think it's such a palpable droplet in the field that those of us who are sensitive feel it, like, oh shit, that's not good. We will never feel that because we need to interfere or change it. That's not it. We're not working in a sci-fi novel.
Yeah.
You can't possibly have any responsibility to that. But I think that the pain and the anguish of it is so fucking loud, like an atomic blast, that we feel it. Don't know where to put it. Don't know what it is. Don't know that it's ours or not ours. In the James Holmes situation, he lived in the apartment building of my clients. So I was the one who cleared his apartment afterwards. And I remember my client, his landlord, saying to me, she's like, I feel like this is just the first head of the Hydra that's coming up. And even at that moment, like, I prayed that she was wrong, and we're not wrong. Hasn't stopped. So, yeah. Was there a question in there, Lexi? I didn't mean to overshare.
No, that's no, your experience sounds very familiar to my own, and it's just I think for everyone it has us thinking of, or I guess I don't want to speak for everyone, but it has me thinking of safety and what that means and where you find it or how you find it for
Good.
yourself, how you create it for yourself, and bringing back things of your own of my own past that have nothing to do with what's going on, but it just the safety is
Mhm.
the underlying thread, and having to look at that and face that is been coming up, and I've noticed it with a lot of people around me, but they don't understand what they're feeling and seeing, but I can see it, so it's like it's a lot.
Well, and we've been in 2 years of unsafe, 2.5
Mhm.
years of unsafe. We are not safe. And as soon as you think you are, they'll throw something else on the news to pay attention to remind you that you're unsafe. So maybe looking at unsafe as an agenda.
Mhm.
We'll
Definitely.
fucking cultivate safety, like, cool. And we'll also. I lost it.
I just keep hearing over and over this not of course there's this theme of not giving someone else your ability to be feel safe, but also not assuming that your safety is being created by what we call leaders and what like that kind of thing.
Well, and
Uh,
don't we even call it a safety net in this world whenever people are on any type of welfare system? Like it's called a safety net.
yeah,
It's not safe, it's punishment.
it's so it's so layered. And
What
it's
I wanted to drop in, and this is part of what Russell Brand was saying, and excuse me, Lexi, I'm going to
yeah,
grab it before it goes away, but what it allows us to cultivate is a relationship with the sacred. That even when or if those things occur, knowing that we're powerless to it, knowing that its atrocity is unfathomable, we can still tap into something deeper and truer. And can we embody more of that love and compassion in our field so that we start being the louder frequency than unsafety? Yeah, it makes no fucking sense. And I think it's also dangerous once we start like putting ourselves in the mind of either the shooter or the parents of like, that's not fair. Not fucking fair. It's gross, really. Trauma bonding at an anonymous level, which is what I watched go on in the Boulder shooting here. People were feeding off of the trauma, and an egregore was being created after that shooting. That was fucked up. I did my best to send it out of this dimension. Is Becca still on? I can't see you, Becca, but I don't know if you're still here because you might have just turned off your screen, lady.
I'm here.
Hey. Were you and Anne doing anything during that? Would you talk a little bit about your experience with that shooting because you were the one who kind of helped me through it?
Um, no, nothing like specific. I know you said you felt like Anne had done something though,
Felt like the shamans in Boulder who I trained with had.
right? Yeah,
It
yeah,
felt
yeah.
when I got to that site, none of the souls were still there, so that was remarkable to me. The souls, and even in Columbine, like the souls are all cleaned up right away because there's enough of us who are awake and psychopumping where we're like, I'm going to get that fucking kid out so they do not stay in that loop of terror and pain at the Akashic field level or at any other level. And Becca, you were also kind enough to connect some dots for me with where that hi with the family of that shooter who run a restaurant here in our neighborhood who I
Yeah.
tip very generously every time I'm in. Like, what do you do to support the family of the shooter? I think is where I naturally go, and what I told my client today too. And I'm like, send a letter to Eric and Dylan's parents. They probably haven't heard a good word in a while. Like, send them something. Because the karma that creates for a family to live with, we can't understand.
Yeah, I feel like they've been pretty supported too. I don't know. I was really worried for their restaurants and they closed down for a little bit,
They
but
just upgraded.
yeah.
I was just in there and their menu was all different. And I was like, what? Huh? They were a little bitchy to me, but I still tip them well and will patronize them because they make the best Euro salad in the world.
Hmm.
Thanks. They're like, we don't make a Euro salad. And I'm like, I want the Greek salad with Euro. She's like, oh, okay. Okay. Excuse my English words that do not match your knowingness. Thanks. I also walked in without a bra, so maybe she was salty about that. So I want to just close this out. If anybody else has comments, this would be the time. But we aren't going to stay in the grief of. We aren't going to stay in the trauma of. It's not ours to process. It's not ours to feel. It's your invitation to vibrate higher and to offer something else instead.
I'm so glad that you said that, because there's a huge part of the people around and on social media and whatever that are saying, what are you doing? How are you doing this? And it's like a call to action, and it's like
I'm being
it
kind
feels
to every
very
human I
forced.
encounter. I
Yeah,
am
and
putting
it's
more
just
love into
like,
this world than existed yesterday.
whoa, yeah, okay, yeah, it's just,
There's nothing I can do. My action is not required here. This is heinous behavior at the highest levels. We haven't, like, I don't know what the fuck is going to change reptilian government officials. I don't know. I don't know. Mass extinction? I don't know.
Can I drop
Um,
something in really quick?
oh, yeah, please. Only if it's
So
Reiki.
maybe a little bit. So I have this energy has been swirling around in my field, in the conscious collective, and everything that's going on, including with this. And this is something that I think, even with just the last 2 years, but certainly with events like this as well, like everything that is potentially tragic in this way and that really pushes us, and makes us question our safety and question like whether or not we're okay in this world, is really a reminder, a look into, and an invitation to take back, to really first actually evaluate your level of personal authority and then take that back. And by personal authority, I mean your mental space, your emotional space, your physical space, your family, your education, your health, literally everything. Right. And like a part of, we can even think about like a part of these shootings, or just like what I think you had mentioned something about, that is we entrust these institutions, we entrust these teachers, we entrust somebody and something outside of ourselves with the health, wealth, and safety of ourselves and our family members. And so this
That's a
everything,
misstep.
absolutely, absolutely, right? Like this happened in the very beginning because like the tribe was where we found health and safety. We needed that in the beginning, but now the tribe has kind of turned against us. We are no longer this very congruent, intimate group of people, right? The tribe has grown too large and has been corrupted, to where we still have this like sense of dynamic where I want to put my faith and trust in you, because all of this shit is too heavy for me to hold. It's too much for me to think about my own education and my own health and my own well-being. That's why you trust the doctor when you go, right? That's why you call the police. That's why you call the ambulance. That's why you send your kids to school.
That's why you
Is
call the
because
sprinkler guy. The sprinkler.
right, right. Literally, you call somebody for typically almost everything in your life, right? Even when you're going through emotional stuff, you call a therapist, you call a friend. All of these are invitations to bring you back into yourself and to really become the own authority of all aspects of your life.
Hmm.
And by doing so, then we separate, we kind of help to end a lot of that karma, because now the things that we're doing are in alignment. And like we're talking about boundaries, like you put that boundary up and you're like, no, this is where my boundary lies, and my boundary is me. My boundary is my health, my wellness, my mental space, my family. And until we get back to that, I think a lot of shit like this is going to continue to happen to remind us of exactly that.
You writing a book or a blog about it?
This is my life's work, though.
The other place of personal power that I'll say like seems like an invitation here, because as Lexi and I acknowledged, and as maybe you have felt as well, when these things come up, oh my God, there's something in the psychic fucking field that says everything is not right. And should you be in a situation where a mass shooting or something tragic like that could occur, if you're tuned into yourself and to the energetics and to your psychic, you might be like, I'm staying home today. So let's just recognize that this is, oh, fuck you guys. It's initiatory.
100%, because there have been those feelings that we were talking about. And it's like, I knew the second time around that when I felt it, I was like, I need to pause. I need to step back, and I need to see what the hell I need to do for myself right now. And it was, do A, B, and C. Don't go do this. I'm like, okay, don't know why, but I won't. And then it was like the word I really liked that you used was anchor, because it felt like I was anchoring into, I was becoming my own anchor, but I was also anchoring that energy of calm around me, so that other people would look to me. I'd be like, okay. And they'd be so surprised at my reaction. And I'm like, it's like, this is what I'm carrying instead of your panic. You want me to match you, but I'm anchoring this. Do you want to join this one? Like,
Well, and just like you said, everybody's saying like, what are you going to do? What's the action you're going to take? There's no fucking action to take. You want me to like get angry with you? You want me to pick it with you? Yeah, I don't mean to say they're ineffective, but like, I don't know that that's the way true change is going to occur here.
Yeah.
My anchoring piece is much more valuable and much more lucrative in this moment to like, and I love how you said it, of like, come back to you, not like, what are you going to do to stop this? But like, what do I need to do for me right now?
Yeah. And a lot of people, it's not going to help anyone when we're matching each other's hurt and pain and whatever, cycles and cycles and cycles. It's like, oh my God, like, no. So yeah, feeling those stepping back and not even stepping back, but just stepping in. I think
Nice.
And just being like, what the fuck am I doing right now? What do I need to do as a human? What do I need to do as, a higher soul? What do I need to do as a family member? Like, what am I doing right now?
Yeah, because the fear doesn't help anything at all. Your thoughts and prayers and your fear, the three least effective things that you can do.
Well, and you don't help a victim by becoming one yourself. But that's exactly what, especially the last 2 years, every single thing that has been blasted at us has told us to do. Be the victim, just like everybody else. I'm now responsible for you. You're now responsible for me. Like, no, wait, that's actually the inverse. Like, that's fucked. No, you're responsible for you. I'm responsible for me. And the fact that we haven't been responsible for our own health, wealth, safety, and well-being is how we've gotten to this place.
And when you say it like that too, when we do take personal responsibility and sovereignty in those ways, that's when we can actually come together and form communities. That's when we can start living together. It's not whenever I'm like waiting for somebody to fix it for me and I'm going to move here so that I don't have to. It's like, I know what the fuck I'm doing for me, and like now we can link up with each other. That's cool. Yeah. Thanks, Destiny. She creates community spaces. Thank you for showing that reflector. Sorry, Lexi, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, like, the amount of twists and turns I've seen with people calling healing. Well, what they're healing is actually just, let's share misery until we try to make sense out of this. I'm like, we're not making sense out of our misery. Like, stop. So I think that's why I've been like away from social media too, because like, let's heal together. I'm like, no, I'll heal, you'll heal. Well, and the community will come from it too. But like, and you heal with people, but like not in the way that I feel like people are grasping at that from other people and borrowing. I don't know. It feels weird. I don't know what the word is.
Can I bring up something that this like, I think what I'm watching on social media is that there's such a woke culture there that I'm just like, I don't want to play. Not fucking interested. And I watched somebody who I've been following for a while. She goes by her name of Magdalene. And she was saying this thing, and she's like, I just destroyed my business because all of a sudden, like, I recognize that colonial masculine, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, delete. Yes, colonial masculine business practices are problematic. But without solutions, like all that you're yeah. I want a hashtag that's uncancelable. Like fucking try, like fine, whatever, please. Because I've also watched people in our community who are then scared of being canceled if they speak truth. That's a goddamn problem. And BZ, who I hung out with recently, Nicole BZ, if you guys don't know, she was saying, because she's now getting to be a little big deal in social media, and I'm like, so what's the secret to like the level of success? She's like, have a fucking opinion. She's like, if you stay neutral, nobody's interested. If you have an opinion, you're either going to get lots of likes or like, and I was like, that's, have an opinion. Be authentic, be you. And fuck social media. Don't we need new places to play? Come on. Come on.
Well, and we're living in a time of polarity. And until people stop living within that polarity, there's always going to be those extremes of swings. Like they're always only going to see one side or the other. And there is no one side or the other. The dark is present within the light is present within the dark. Like everything that's happening in the world right now is so fucking beautiful.
Thank you for bringing me back to the whole point today, which is like, oh my God, there's so much self-love in here. It's crazy. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
There are, and thank you. I am saying this unabashedly everywhere. If I've already said it to you, like, just deal with it. Like, the fucking frequency that Harry Styles just dropped onto this planet has not existed before. That fucking genius of a little light being, that album, frequency of joy that did not exist before. And as soon as you listen to it, like, for me, I'm like, oh, wait, I can choose that, not this whole thing. What the fuck? Thank you, Harry. Thank you, Harry. Thank you, Harry. It really, even if you don't think you like One Direction boy band music or Harry Styles because he's too handsome for your eye holes, I need you to let your ears listen because frequencies of joy that have not existed on this fucking planet in that album. Anybody want to talk about Harry Styles with me? Hey.
I was just gonna say, I think you should be like a promoter for Harry Styles. I
yeah.
think you should just be like, you should be like, buddy, I can do some.
I got it. But I already am doing it. So let me just say that I am doing it. I did it so successfully last weekend on the energetic realms. Every time I listened, I'm like, may every being who hears this be filled with such fucking joy and love that it's undeniable. May every time that somebody listens, like, can they reach that? Oh yeah, I'm doing it. He'll come and thank me one day. He just hasn't found me yet. It's cool. It's cool. Harry. And I was talking to Angelina and she was saying, she's like, why is he so sexy? And I'm like, okay, sexy is still scary for me because I've liked him since he was like, you know, a baby. And I'm like, can I call him sexy now? Hold up. But I think the beauty of Harry is also that he's authentically himself, that he's not trying to be anybody else, that he's not hiding who he is. And that expression of authenticity, especially in such a fake arena, that's fucking attractive. Oh yeah, I'm a good promoter for Harry. Mm-hmm. He is his own authority. That's it. Yep. Thanks, Destiny. Anything else you guys want to drop in or explore, connect on today? Rebecca, you probably have to tell me where you got the bracelet. Hello?
I don't know. It was my Mother's Day gift. I'd have to ask Eric. I think he got it off of Etsy because it came from the UK. That's all I
Lovely.
know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it date night tonight, or do you just look this radiant? Cuz.
No, date night's tomorrow night.
Okay.
Today's just, yeah.
Just cuz. I like it. And yeah, may I compliment your self-love game right now, because like that's also very present.
Yeah. Yeah. Feels good.
I think
wanted
I
to
just want to say this
go
because
ahead.
animals. So I want. Well, so if you don't know, animal communicator talk with the animals. So, but I was talking with them recently, and I say them, I'm just talking about the ones that I'm closest to, and the collective energy of some of the animals nearby. But a lot of them are not worried about what's going on.
Cool.
And unfortunately, like a lot of animals have passed in my vicinity, but it's in a really, really weird way. They kind of were sharing that they're making room for more animals to come in and share that magic. So like they're tapping out of their bodies and transitioning and making room for more animals or for themselves to come back again. So that, along with the animals just not being too worried. Like I know there's like, there's this monkey thing going around, there's this bird flu thing, whatever. Like feed the birds. People have asked me like, do I feed the birds or I just stop feeding? I'm like, feed the birds. Let's just like make sure they're fed. Like, so the birds wanted to say that. But I think it's nice to look at them and be like, okay, they're not worried. Okay, I'll be fine. So keep that in mind. But as much as our animals and our pets can feel us, they understand everything's gonna be fine. So I guess I just want to share that. It's good to know.
I saw somewhere with the monkeypox, somebody crossed out the X or crossed out the K, and they're like, now we've got it. Now we've got it. Let's get another frequency of fear in here that you guys need to be scared of. Intimacy? You motherfuckers. Pranita, you still here, lady? I see that you are here, and then you disappeared off screen. Well, Pranita, when you come back, we'd love to hear from you, because it's been a minute. It's been a minute. Rebecca, my question for you. Since you saw the UFO, anything else that's come up from it? Any cool dreams that have come in, or nighttime allyships?
No, but I think last time I chatted with you, I just had a depossession. I've since had 3 more. And
Big work, honey.
and now it was interesting. Anne recommended this gal in California that can do it remotely. So she has a totally different way. Like she learned through Betsy, but it's completely different than like Anne's approach. And she like read my aura and she could see that there was something else in my aura. And she's like, oh, it's silvery. She's like, that makes me think ET. And there's basically like a group of beings that were like watching me that were from some ship, because she was like asking them. And when she had them all go back home, she was like, let's make sure there's no beacons attached to you and make sure that the ship can't find you again. So, and now my body, I've been trying to kind of heal my body because it seemed to really mess with my physical body pretty bad.
The depossession or the possession?
The possession.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, both like mentally with like thoughts and emotions, but also like actually like my nerves and
the nervous system. Of course, that's how they would be to us.
Yeah. And I still feel like someone's doing this all the time in my hair, because that's what it felt like for 5 weeks.
Motherfuckers. I had a being last week, and he came in, and he tried to follow me into my bedroom at one point. I'm like, fuck no, you didn't. It was very clear, but we had to negotiate because he was of a lineage that's not mine. And I'm like, I've contributed a lot to this lineage, but like, there's no fucking relationship here. There's no partnership. And he's like, don't you want to see this? I'm like, I don't need to see whatever the fuck you have to show me. It's not mine. Why do, go about yourself. So thanks for anybody who like is just hearing like possession stuff. Possession very real, especially within the shamanic realms. These things happen, and if we can treat them in that way instead of like, cool, yeah, these things happen. There are fucking people who are gifted at clearing it. I'm not one of them. I can see it every once in a while, but yeah, this this is where I go to an expert, Destiny, and I'm like, Rebecca Pepper is my gal. If there's possession shit, I'm like, I'm gonna call Rebecca and work with her. Becca, you can tell us your person too, because this shit happens.
Yeah, well, you know, Anne Drucker can definitely do it, but you know, she's booked out for months. So if you need something quicker, her main assistant Esther has been good. She did the major depossession on me last year. But this lady, her name was Helena.
Aw.
And her name, I think her business is Spirit Joy.
Okay.
And she's in California. And because she does it through the phone, yeah, I had an appointment with her within like 4 days. So yeah.
And I'll put into this too that if you really vibrate at joy, you can't be possessed. The things that come in are when you're vibrating at fear, when you're vibrating at stress, when you're vibrating at sickness, when you're vibrating down there, all kinds of beings are like, within the Wilcock realm, law of one, this would be called the loosh. And yeah, whenever you're like feeding these beings with your fear and anxiety and stress, oh yeah. Oh yeah, they want pools to eat from, and if you're unaware of them eating, they're thrilled about it. And then there's also past life possessions. There's curses that are passed through families. There's curses that are thrown on you. So all of these things are. There's no amount of love and light that can make these things not be real. Don't be fucking naive if you've got something going on where like all of a sudden you even have a thought in your head where you're like, who's that? That's not you. That's nothing you need to entertain. That's not a way a guide will introduce themselves of like just hijacking and starting talking. That's not manners. Tell them how you need to fucking respond to you. Tell them how to approach. And anything that's trying to fill you up with too much of like how amazing you are. Red flag. Yes, you're amazing. And these beings are not embodied here, so they often want places where they can embody. And they do that through us. Bad behavior, y'all.
She also didn't know that it was there too, but there's also like a little girl occupying my body.
Not
so
you.
while she was there, we also helped that little girl move along. Yeah.
Energy's so weird and like, welcome to the mystery. You don't know shit. Doesn't mean you need to be scared of it either, but.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that it's always taught as compassionate depossession. Like, you know, it was just as much love for this being as it was for me. It's not, you know, throwing holy water. No.
Casting thee out. No, it has to be done compassionately or else they won't pay attention. Because if you go in of like banishing something, well, that's just another frequency of anger, fear, and violence that they'll stick around by when you can do it compassionately. My experience, compassionate depossession is the only way. Thanks, Rebecca.
Thank you.
It's so funny you say that because there's a mixture. Like when I work with the dragons, they're very not fuck withable, but there's compassion there, but it's also like fierce compassion. Like, so it's funny. I hear you say that. I'm like, hey.
Well, and think about like our experience and our lens is like through this human. This is it. So like my experience of compassion, well, compassion is going to look very different up there where there's a realm where it's only joy. they don't they don't need compassion because it's inherent in some ways. And to know that there were galactics that were ciphering off of you, Becca, it makes it a little scary in that way too, of like, wait, the universe is not filled with compassionate, loving beings? No, why do you think it would be? Because in that way, the dark and the light, the good and the bad, like,
Yeah, and even the way, like the questions she was asking were like, you know, like is your planet still there? Has your planet been destroyed? Are you being forced to do this? And
So good.
you know, and it was so interesting, you know, just because of the way that she works, it wasn't calling in like the helping spirits or calling in any gods or goddesses. She was calling in the galactic council. She was calling in the sentinel angels, and like that's who she works with.
Send
And
me a text with her info, please, because I would love to
okay.
work with her. Helena, you said. I don't remember right now, but that's great. That's great. And recognizing like people like Helena, people like Anne, people like Becca, people like all of you who do any type of healing, there is not a right or a wrong way. We all come into our own medicine, and it comes through us, and we learn and we branch out. So Betsy Bergstrom, who is unquestionably the best of the best at depossessions, cool. And then her students are gonna like learn and learn and learn. So this is where it gets really fun, that our unique medicine gets to come online in all of these ways. And it's never going, like, if you ever have a healing session with a shaman that looks exactly like this and is a protocol that does this, this, and this, fucking get out. Gross. There's no art in that. There's no creativity. There's no spontaneity. There's nothing. And it's why I have a problem with some healing modalities that are just like symptomatic in that way of like, if this, do this. Okay, Pranita's back, and we don't know how long we're gonna have her. So, hey, would you? It's so nice to see you here.
Hi, sorry, I just had my dinner started, so I was making sure I don't ring another alarms. I did other day, so I
Don't
just
do that.
yeah.
Don't do that. I was reading actually your energy report this morning, so it's kind of, I love that you're here. Thank you. Would you give us a synopsis of what is going on? So Pranita, specialist in Schumann resonance, for anybody who doesn't know, but
Uh yeah, I just posted about my Kundalini activations, just old Kundalini stuff.
Okay.
Nothing really happening in physical with me, but I have this feeling inside that I'm dying. So definitely a ego death. It's so hard to, sit with myself right now. So much discomfort. I can, feel something is withering away. But I also feel hopeful at the same time. So I believe it's been 10 years now being on this path, and obviously initial 5-6 years I did not even understand this was what was happening. This time I could actually feel it, because it's a cycle, it's a spiral. I'm more chill this time. I'm just letting it work its own thing, just sitting here being with myself, and then taking care of my 1-year-old toddler.
Is she 2 now? Or are we not quite?
No. 15 months.
15 months. Okay. Yeah, just a little over 1 then. And it's cute as you said that, because time is cyclical. So whenever you guys can catch yourself in one of these cycles, if you can recognize that you're in the cycle and shift it, that's going to be the way to like grow and change it, instead of just staying in the spiral of it.
Yeah, and I'm like, if something needs to die, I'll let it do its own thing, because the moment I try to do something, it kind of brings up some ego and even the resistance. So it's better to, stay out of my way and let just things fall away, so that there are new things that are coming in for me. We need more space.
And what a sweet way of recognizing it, right? Like if something's dying, it's because something else is trying to birth. It's not a going away, and it's not like death is not a finality in any way at all.
Yeah.
Nope. Would you talk to me more about the Kundalini stuff? Because that got turned on pretty big for me last week too.
It's just all of the chakras being blasted one by one. And I've literally have felt so many downloads, and they're so strongly coming in. My legs feel like shaky. Even when I'm sitting, I can like feel myself completely shaking. And I think I talked about it a little on your podcast too, my little personal earthquakes. They're back. So that's how it feels like. Sometimes my root feels on fire, like literally hard to sit. And then some other chakra, and then they're all, going off in the sequence. So that's when I actually caught myself, like one day I have symptoms for root chakra, and then half a day later I have symptoms for sacral, and then solar, and then it keeps going up, and then it starts again from the root. So I was like, this is something else. And then I had this weird allergy near my eye, and my, like, this part, it literally looked like alien scales. I could not take a picture of it, but this happened back in 2020 as well, and I was going through the same thing. It was at the same place. It was another kundalini activation at that time. It happened again. So I was like, this has to be it. I mean, there is nothing else that I can fit in the description for myself. So yeah.
So the Kundalini activations are part of awakening. And are they necessarily sexual for you?
No,
Okay.
not for me, but they make me really dizzy. So the most I've felt them in is my root chakra and my crown chakra. They haven't really done much of the sexual part for me yet. But that energy going up and then going again from down to up, down to up, down to up is what I've felt
Because I
for
think
the
my
last.
Western mind always connects sexual Kundalini energies, and I don't really have them separated out. Can you help me get them not?
No, I'd say that as per my understanding, it's kind of, it definitely will eventually become sexual when we, when they say you have a full kundalini awakening. Probably that's when it happens. And maybe spontaneous awakenings, when people have them, maybe that's when they feel it that way. But what I've felt is it stays basically at your root chakra, and it tries to kind of go up till your crown, and it kind of blasts everything out of all of your chakras. So it will never go the other way. It will always feel going
Go
from root
up.
to crown. Yeah, it will always go up. And then there are two nadis. Um, One is called Ida, one is Pingla, and there is one central nadi that's called Sushumna. So basically, it like stays at the core, and when it starts rising, they are like the two snakes. Ida and Pingla are the two snakes that start going like this through each chakra, and when they go through each chakra, they kind of push everything out that just needs to be out of your system. And Sushumna always goes straight up. So these two kind of work out first, and then the Sushumna rises. So that's how I felt.
Thank you. So good. And how is India?
uh, okay, family drama for half the time, and
But I
then
think thank you, and I didn't mean for you to share about personal. I know what you were in India for. But like, how is the energy of India to be in that part of the world right now?
personally, I felt sort of an alignment. I just felt that I was at the wrong place in the wrong time. Um, like it did not feel good to me. And I swear I've never, like, I've been living in different cities, different world parts of the world. I've never felt homesick, but when I was in India, I actually felt homesick and I wanted to come back.
Congratulations. That tells the universe something pretty big, honey. I know where I want to be. Thanks, y'all.
Yeah, I mean, I swear, like 1 week in, I was like, I miss home. And probably not having home is, it kind of comes from my lineage. I I find myself very resonant with Lyran Syrian lineage, and Lyra as we know it does not exist as such, like it was destroyed. So the souls kind of went to different planets. So it's a very common, I think, trait that people feel who are Lyran in lineage. So I feel that like I don't have a home. So I really like there was a different kind of homesickness always for me, but this time it was completely different. Like I really longed to come back to this place because um, we did one session, right? And you asked me to anchor home here, and I did that, and that's why home is here.
Cool shit that comes through. And I didn't know that. So Lyra doesn't have a planet anymore, but it was in the Vega system. Is that right?
Yes. So one of the planets got destroyed in the galactic wars, and the souls actually were rehabilitated on different planets, other planets. So there are a group of consciousness who would long for home, but they don't know where their home is.
And are the Lyra the lion-headed ones, or is that just my miss?
No, they are the lion-headed
Okay.
ones. And then that's why Sirius is also very close to home because of Syrian lions. So I feel very
Yeah,
resonant.
I don't know about Syrian
Oh,
lions. Say more. Hold on. What? Huh? What?
Lions Gate, Sirius 8-8. It's
Same thing.
uh,
Okay.
it's something, yeah.
Hmm.
And the blue beings.
Hello. There seem to be a lot of blue beings lately, and I don't know if anybody saw that picture that was going around that I think it was claimed to be Arcturian. Steve Noble had it up for a while, but yeah, those blue beings, to me, they're always beneficent. I haven't encountered a blue being who has ill intent. They're usually protector energies. Hmm.
Me and
But
Jordan
from
had two blue beings come and work on us during a mushroom ceremony once.
wow.
Like facilitated some deep nervous system like upgrades and healing. It was wild.
That's lovely.
Yeah, it was really cool.
What was your intention of ceremony?
Um, I think this was like 2 years ago. I think it was basically like we were asking. Well, I said my intention was like basically like something along the lines of like I know I was asking for healing, basically asking for like whatever needed to happen in order to like get me closer to that like 5D frequency to like allow me to do that. And that's when I like blasted off in like a rocket ship, like literally felt like I was strapped down to a table and like in a ship and was being like catapulted through space at like a millionth miles of hour. And then they both appeared on our side and was like working periodically on me.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it was wild. It was
If
the
anybody
wildest experience I've ever had.
wants to work with benevolent healing beings, I think Michelle Smallwright's MAPS system is probably the way to go. Different than MAPS psychedelic research, but there was an old MAPS system where you could call together your healing team who would do this work on you, sometimes in sleep state.
Wow. I also feel Shiva, he also is from Sirius, even though we call him Ascended Master. I somehow pick up those frequencies from him. He's blue also. So
Oh, he is. Oh, that makes sense. I got a Shiva whenever I was 16 years old that I worked with for a long time. I mean, it was a little eraser. It was really fucking cute. So sorry, Shiva. I'm sure that's not the most sacred totem that I could have worked with, but and Fernita, I love. Thank you for your contributions. Thank you for your knowledge. Thank you for your generosity of sharing. Because yeah, I don't know your people and your lineage in those ways where like it does match up with things. That's so cool. Hmm.
well, if you say that in Eastern India, probably a lot of religious people will be offended because he's a god, but that's not how I work with him.
Mm. Yeah, my daughter, who has not been raised with any traditional religion, let's say that, she was asking me, she's like, so are God and Jesus the same person? And I'm like, well, Ultimately, yes. Ultimately, yes, we're all God. And her dad teaches her that we're all God, but he's also a narcissist. So I think it gets super confusing in that way of like, wait, yeah, we'll let you ask all the questions that you want, honey, and we'll never give you answers because there are none. There are no definitive answers in this world. There's nothing that can be assuredly said. You've got to find it within. Monica, would you tell me what are on your pants? They look like some pants that I have. Is it moth print? Hold on, now I see your leg. That's cute.
I don't know. It's just colors. It's not anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a mystery.
Mm.
Mimi, we haven't heard much from you tonight, and Michael. Mimi, I also like that your full sun summer babe coloring is coming online. Like, hey, hey.
Everyone's always like, why are you so tan? I'm like, because I'm outside all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. I actually have some like nice raccoon eyes. They're here where my sunglasses sit. Very sexy. Very, very sexy. Yeah, I've just been like, today's been really weird here just because it's been like gray. Just started raining, but it's like stopped. And I always get really weird when there's a lot of like water in the air. Just me personally. My body gets all weird from all the water. Yeah, I don't know. I've been weird today. I haven't been myself really. But I've been like so good. So I'm just kind of just like letting myself relax and chill today. Did a little bit of gardening, planted a bunch of stuff. But like really wanted to go like do a lot of stuff. And I'm like, yeah, no, it's not happening today. It's not happening
Way to
today.
honor you, because yeah, that
Yeah.
pushing doesn't do us any good.
So like for the social media stuff, like I don't watch any news. So like I just see what we were talking about before about like the shootings and all that stuff. And whenever there's something serious like that, I usually just like take a couple hours off. You know what I mean? Like don't do anything, just go back. Used to really fuck with me when stuff like that happened. And in the last like 2 or 3 years, I'm not like letting myself go down to that. And just like keeping the compassion of everyone and everyone in your heart and not going into the trauma bonding.
And the egregore, feeding like this whole thing,
Yeah.
my energy.
And like, and then like, I just like, cause I had no idea what happened because I don't read or watch any of the news. So I just kind of like, when I'm on social media or whatever, I usually just asked to be shown what I need to be shown. And then I start like to like read stuff and I'm like, whoa, these people are all over the place. Like I can't with all these like trolls and all this stuff. So
I'll say one, because I do watch the news. I don't watch news. I scroll through on my phone, which is also very curated because you can be like, fuck that, fuck that, fuck that. I don't ever need to hear about a Kardashian in my news feed. Thank you so much. But I did see something this week that there was a new Uajit, I think it was. No, it wasn't. Who was it? Nekbet. Nekbet. There was a vulture goddess that was uncovered at Warda, I think. I'll find it, but yeah, in the Egyptian tombs, they just wiped away the bird shit and the soot and found this glorious ceiling painting of the vulture goddess. And I'm like, oh, she's coming back. So anytime to me that like this energy is like all of a sudden like unearthed or discovered, like that frequency fucking comes back online. And if you know anything about vultures, like,
and the best part about that is that I've been to Egypt and I've witnessed the amount of bird shit that's on everything. It is fucking insane. I'm like, it's just so like dry and dusty and just like watching all these birds like all over the place. But I'm over there like, this is cool.
I have this theory because I watch it with the Mayans and I watch it sometimes, a few different places. But I think with the Egyptians, like, look at these little beings who built the fucking pyramids, and now their whole job is to dig through the dirt, uncovering them again. Like, what kind of fucking lifeline of karma is that? Like, build it and then unearth it, and build it. Oh, bless. Not a. And thank God I did not incarnate into that life cycle of working in the sand.
Well, they're
I
picking
want to
shit.
be. I could just remember it being water at one point when I was there. When I was in the middle of nowhere, I had like a freak out, and I'm like, I can't fucking be here. I remember it when it's water.
I remember it before sand.
Yeah, I'm like, I can't be here in this sand, freaking out.
Pranita, you were saying what, honey?
I was saying the karma should be really real. Like they're picking up shit now after building everything.
Right, you build it and then you got to clean it, and I hope they
Probably
get really
lots
good.
of corrupt timelines
I
picking
hope
up
they
their
get
own shit
really good
now.
upgrades. God, thank you for finding it. Thank you for building it. Thank you for storing it.
Like shitting on it and then picking up their own shit.
It always feels very odd to me, like we're watching something in slow motion, where I'm like, huh, yeah. What was I watching the other night? They were doing. Oh, it was Mayan excavation down in Guatemala that I was watching the other night, and so that one was pretty gorgeous and wild to watch too. Because there it's not it's not bird shit and sand. It's so much overgrowth that you can't even like find anything, and they've done like LiDAR scans in order to like maybe find some stuff, but then you don't even have vehicles that can get there. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. It will come back when it wants to. Michael, how are you?
Good. I'm going through some strange energy in the last couple of weeks.
Oh, are you?
Yes.
Like what?
My crown is like vibrating crazy.
Cool. Yeah, those yeah, I can't speak to your experience. I don't know. I've had some crown shit go on, but
I have crown and also my feet at the same time.
oh, that's good. The feet one is always exciting to me because that's feeding it directly like back into the earth whenever my feet get going, and I'm like, ooh. But then I feel like a tuning fork, right? Whenever it's like all up here and all down there, and careful of what you guys are running through me. Thank you.
I've definitely been feeling the same thing, Michael. My like feet, I've been waking up a lot with my feet being like burny, like hot. And it feels like they're like painful. And when Pranita was talking about the movement, it will start out there and then it will kind of go through, and then like I forget about it, and then a couple of days later, the last day, it's like right here, and it will just like click and just like shift. I'll hear it, the frequency change in my ear, because I like will hear them, and I'll be like, what is that? And then I'll get this like just weird, it feels like someone hit you on the head, and like
That's
there's
how I
like
feel.
yeah, and it's or like a bruise. My mom always talks about that. She's like, oh, my hair hurts today.
I never thought about that being a crown activation. Thank you for that. As one with long hair, where I'm like, I just need a shower. But that's same energy.
Yeah. My feet have felt like some of the days they've like stuck to the earth. They felt so heavy and so painful. Feet, calves, especially. That's how it started for me. And then a little bit everywhere, and then crown itching and crown. It just feels so open, and it feels like a cloud burst, literally, everything going in so fast. Probably you guys should also look into Kundalini activations.
Really? Horace put a helmet on me last week, and so I watched that, and I was like, "You're doing what?" Yeah, I love that he just like dropped that in, and I was like, "Okay," but it wasn't like a helmet to block anything. It was almost more like space helmet-y type. And funny that Dina's coming on right now, because I think Dina was the one that I messaged where I was like, "What the fuck was that?" Yeah. I'll also say my sense of smell seems to be changing. Anybody else going through or had that? Destiny, that's all I needed to see, because in my brain I'm like, is this just like long-term COVID? Like, what the fuck is this? But like I can smell, like sense of smell is totally changing.
Well, my sense of smell actually started. So I got COVID back like the end of 2020, and my sense of smell went away for like 3 weeks. I freaked out. But then after it came back over time, my senses started to increase.
Okay.
And I also started to experience some of the like synesthesia, where it's like senses started like mixing. So it's like you smell something and then you can taste something, or you see something and you smell it, like hear something, like all of the senses like mixing together. And I was gonna say,
Riley!
oh yeah, she's right here.
I know. I saw her and I wanted to make sure I said hi.
But with the crowd activation stuff, I had what I consciously know to be my first Kundalini awakening last year at the end of September, but like literally like woke up into it, like woke up in the dream, but woke up in real life, right? Kind of thing. And it went for like 2 weeks straight, like really, really intensely for about a week. And my head was so sensitive that I had to keep a beanie on it all the time. Otherwise, like my nervous system was way too stimulated and I was like tapped into stuff. I felt so sensitive. Like I literally was just like hiding under a beanie the whole entire time. It was like pulling it over my face, like, please, this is too much. This is too much. So if it gets to be too much, try putting a beanie on your head. Try covering
my
it.
nose.
Yeah.
Put on a beak and we'll see what happens.
Put a nose sock on.
I was looking at something.
I have a question just about Kundalini. Do you do Kundalini yoga?
No, I
I was
don't.
thinking about like moving the energy, because I do Kundalini yoga. I'm gonna do it Sunday again for like the new and full moon. And I was just thinking that like when you have the feeling, like, so when you're doing it, you like hold your breath and like root lock. So you like hold all of everything, and then you bring up the energy through your sushumna to, you know, your third eye. And I was like, maybe there could be some sort of like movement or just like, you know, flow from that pain where you're feeling it, you know, and just to like use that. Cause like I'll usually, when I get like my feet pain, I'll either walk outside or I made like a rock mat and it's in my bathroom. And when I wake up, I put it directly on there. Cause like, I'll just like ground, like when I feel the foot pain, but now I'm thinking about it as like, just like,
Move it.
maybe it just needs to move it
Moving,
up,
yeah. No,
not
that's
down.
so-
Cause like, I'll just move it down to the earth and I'll like give it to be recycled.
no, I think you're on to something. I was thinking about reading this book I have. It's called Kundalini and something. But it's by Genevieve. Let me quickly. Because I remember seeing these exercises in that book, like how to pull it up. I've never tried it, but I was going to try it in like this weekend.
Well, you just root lock. So you hold your sex organs, your rectum, and then you pull, and then you hold through, and then you just pull, like, you know, just witness the energy go all the way up into your third eye. And also, Destiny, your hair is part of your, like, what is it? It's like your nervous system, isn't your nervous system, or your hair correlates with stuff like that too. And like the hat, if it does hurt you again, put a white hat on, like when you're in Kundalini.
Oh no, the hat didn't hurt me. I was saying my crown being like blasted so much, I put it on.
Put a white one on.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I had a purple one on, so I guess it was.
There you go.
Was
this is good.
Crown, close enough. I'm
Just
getting ready
good.
to leave, and I wanted to just drop something in that I wanted to say earlier before when we were talking about all that stuff and just with everything going on in the world. This is just kind of like, I guess, like a mantra or just something I've been reminding myself of lately, especially over this last like year, of just like reminding myself that I did not come here to suffer. Like I did not choose to incarnate into a physical body during this wild fucking time just to come here to suffer. So if I didn't choose that, that means that there's something else available, right? That there's another reality possible for me to step into. So like, you know, bringing the love, seeing it all as beautiful, seeing it all as like a catalyst, seeing the flip side, right? Because we are living in that dualistic, polaristic reality right now. So if there is this harsh negative, there equally is also the
Harry
greatest
Styles.
beauty.
Harry Styles, I think, is what you
Right. Exactly. Right there. So I've just been reminding myself over and over again, especially when like hard shit comes to me, like I did not come here to suffer. I did not come here to suffer. And then it helps me see the gift. It helps me see what is actually being given. Like, what is the gift of love that is hiding within this fear, that is hiding within this shit? And it's helped me so much. So I just wanted to gift that to y'all and just ping,
I did
put
not
it into
come here
your
to
brains.
suffer, motherfuckers.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Whole different game. I'm here for the game.
Yeah.
Okay. Love you, Destiny. Have a great night.
Love you. Bye.
It's so good. Not here to suffer.
Nope.
Mm-mm.
I have something else to say.
Oh, great.
I actually met two galactic family in my life.
Did you?
Yes, I was actually working with them,
Cool.
and I stay in contact with them all the time.
And do we do it psychically or do you do it physically or what's the
But I usually do it through the phone right now.
through the phone?
Yes, my mind is so busy right now. It just doesn't want to calm down to do the psychic part.
Wow. Okay. And are these human embodied people or
Yes, these are two ladies.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm so glad you found them. And I think like we're all seeking family, right?
Yeah.
So being able to ask for it, like, bring them home, please. Bring them right on in, because it supports our mission. It supports their mission. It supports like this expansion that's going on.
Yeah, because I didn't know about that until I had my Cossack Records read, and that's where it came up. Yeah.
Come on. Those fucking Akashic Records, they've been so cool lately. Like, I don't do a healing just on individuals anymore. I'm like, we clear this through the whole field, like through the whole field. It seems to, I'm having more fun. I'll say that. Why would I just do one-on-ones? Let's clear the whole field and through the Akashic field of wherever this suffering is, because it's an old story. Oh, Michael, I love that. I've met a few. Have I met Galactic Family? Probably. But I've met a lot of Soul Family. I've met a lot of, yeah, it's wild to see when those things come up and how there's such a familiarity and comfort that you didn't know you were missing until you get it and you're like, well, that feels better.
It just felt a lot better.
That feels better. What part of Canada are you in, Mike?
Outside of Vancouver.
Vancouver, okay. And thanks. I'm gonna ask the real dumb question. Vancouver is like east or west side?
West.
Fuck. And Toronto is east?
East.
Okay, thanks. Because I know they're on other sides and I never remember. So Vancouver is gonna be above Seattle. Yes?
Yes, we're above Seattle.
Great. Thank you. Okay.
About 3 hours away.
Mm-hmm.
I know that part. I've driven that road a few times.
That's cute. Okay, and I'm just gonna excuse me. I'm programming my brain right now that Vancouver is west because the V&W look alike. Thank you very much. Got it. Toronto's over there. And is Vancouver the one that's like really pretty because it feels very European? Is that right?
Something like I don't know. It's just to me, it's not like more buildings than anything else, like high rises and all that.
Okay.
But there are some areas where it's actually really, what do you call it?
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of Montreal. Where the fudge is Montreal?
Montreal's is Ontario.
Okay, thank you.
Vancouver is way prettier than Toronto, just FYI.
Okay, thanks.
Like Toronto's more like New York and like visually, like Vancouver is over near like the water and stuff. So it's like,
Okay.
it's completely different.
Monica, are you up there too? Are you Canada?
Yeah, I'm in Toronto.
Okay, so sorry. I didn't. Okay, that's crazy.
That's okay. I've also moved like so many times.
Yeah, and then we've got Mel and Nix, who I was talking to this week, and then of course Loren, who's there in Alberta. So I'm so sorry. American brains weren't taught any fucking geography other than our own country because we are narcissists and xenophobic. So if we learn those things, it's on our own choosing, not because anybody's requiring us to. Uh, as Mimi's got a map of the world behind her. Thank you.
The only reason I know where countries are is because I learned them.
Yep.
No one taught them to me.
Nope. No one will teach them to us.
And I have maps all over so that I can remind myself where they are visually.
Okay, Vancouver's pretty. No offense, Toronto. Hey Dina. Hey Dina. Hey Dina.
Hey, Dina.
Hey everybody! Sorry I'm late for the game.
There's no time.
I know, right?
Are you done working for the day?
I am. I had an interesting. I was going to be here earlier. I was going to be on time, and oh,
We just
look,
got
there's a baby.
upstaged by a baby. I'm so sorry, Aries, but
Yes!
we just hold on, Dina.
Look at
I'm
that
sorry.
baby.
I don't need to apologize. Hi, Beauty.
Hi, Angel.
No, is it weird to see all these faces on a screen? You know, you can just take it in. You don't have to do anything. Pranita, she's so beautiful. That's so cute. We have a kitty in here. Dina, bless you. Thank you.
Sorry, Dina. She was sleeping. She just woke up.
Oh, that's
My husband is not there.
Come here.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Say thank you. Say thank you.
Thank you. We do sign language, baby sign. Boy, it's so helpful.
Try. We try.
Do this one. Do you know what that one is? I know. I just know a few of them. We learned the ones that we needed to learn. That was about it.
Yep. That's what
Mimi,
we
do you know baby sign language too?
I used to know it, but a lot of the kids I work with don't do it. But like more, I forget what milk is. Food, right? Food or something. Food. Eat this one. There we go. Oh, look at the baby.
eat, drink, milk,
Drink. There you go.
and
Milk.
more.
I always think milk is this one, not this.
No, it's
I know. I wanted you to see little.
Oh, the baby kitty. All the fur babies.
Oh, the fur babies. Hi. Oh my God, that sweet little face. Okay, Dina, yeah, tell us what you're doing, lady. Tell us how you're doing, lady.
Did I miss anything?
A little bit. That's cute. Was that a rhetorical? That's cute.
I hate that I missed it. So I was on my way home from work, and I pulled out of a parking lot, and someone bumped my bumper, and it hit my door, but it hit my back bumper for sure. And I have a lot of peace, but then I can sort of feel, I don't know, I feel like there's something to this. I know Jupiter and Mars are conjunct today, and as I was driving to work, to and from work, I know I'm divinely protected, and I'm like, remember, Mars and Jupiter are conjunct. Just be easy. But I am gonna have to get my car at the collision place, and I can drive it. And
How's your nervous system?
it's a little shaky.
Okay.
It's a tiny bit shaky. Yeah.
Okay.
I could. Yeah. I feel there's a bigger picture to it though, and that's what I'm like scanning and trying to figure out. The guy didn't have insurance, and he hit my back bumper. I felt like he sped up. I knew I was cutting it close when I pulled out, and so I like hit it, but I felt like he sped up also, and our literally skimmed. He got his front bumper bumped, and I got my back bumper bumped. So that was sort of interesting. A little slow down.
Right. And like directed aggression at you. Isn't that what you're saying? I'm not adding or I'm not intuiting anything here. I'm trying to hear a story and maybe I'm wrong.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if he was, it felt like he sped up, but he was a kind soul.
Okay.
And I do feel like life has maybe made him,
Okay.
he's trying to climb up out of something.
Okay. It's cute because when you say, did I miss anything? Yeah, we talked about the shootings a little bit earlier. We talked about some of this weird energetics and aggressions that's going on the planet. Uh-huh. I'm sorry that you had to have your own experience of that, but I drove a 26-foot truck yesterday, 200 miles. And so in that same way of like shaky energy, right? Like that's a big fucking vehicle. And I needed to be very, sorry, Pranita, didn't mean to curse in front of your daughter. I needed to be very vigilant. And I think that vigilance wiped me out yesterday of needing to be that present everywhere. Monica, how can I support that? It's so cute.
It's not related to anything you're saying right now, so you can finish your thought.
Okay. I don't know that I have anything more to share, but Monica, you got the floor, lady.
Yeah. Fuck. um. Yeah, I just feel like I'm in a really weird place right now. Like,
Unsafe?
no, just like it's not even necessarily that I'm in the wrong place. It's just like I'm waiting for things to like click into some sort of like alignment, some sort of like, okay, this is, I'm kind of on the right track. And I feel like I'm almost at that point, but I'm like still very much in a spot of like nothing's quite adding up yet.
So what's the fear in there?
What's that?
What's the fear?
I don't know that it never will.
That's it. That's what I needed you to recognize. That's the fear that you keep like panicking over.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fear that it never will. The fear that you've either missed it or that you fucked it up somehow.
Well, I'm also like impatient because I'm so sick of this space that I've been in. Like, I've just been like financially really, really stretched beyond even the worst that I've experienced before. And I've also been like emotionally like just like a lot of heavy things. And it's just like, and I can see this like piece that's coming of like stepping into this different space and like being like so fucking good, like to the
And as
point that
long
I
as
might,
you're waiting for that, you will be judging and suffering now.
yeah.
The card that I pulled for you is death.
Okay.
Which is like, yes, you're in it. No, it won't last. Nothing does. But as long as you are trying to get out of it, it's going to linger. So there is a place of, I know, and I'll take a picture of this death card because I know with my lights you can't ever really see it very well. But like, look at that version of death, would you please? Like that is not a hard place to be. It's uncomfortable. And thank you. I've been talking with my daughter about like the difference between unsafe versus uncomfortable. Uncomfortable, you're going to do a lot. Unsafe, you don't have to stay in. Uncomfortable is what you're in right now, not unsafe.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like there's lots of worthiness things that are coming up for you of like it's never going to get better and that you're just perhaps delusional thinking that something different is coming. And that's not true.
Yeah. And I know that.
No, you don't.
I
That
mean,
might know it. We don't know it here, which is
okay.
what the invitation and initiation is into like embodying it, where you're like, what you guys got
Yeah.
for me? And it's funny because like this is what we were talking about today, right? Like it's that, or we plan to talk about, but it's that radiant self-love that like, I've got me. No matter what happens, I've got me.
Mhm.
Um, the panic feels lineage related, not just yours. So it's all
Oh, I
compounded
know.
on you.
Yeah. That's fun.
Yeah. And that I feel like the lineage stuff makes it harder at times because then it's not just like my pipeline of gunk. It's like this other like clog that's coming at me that everybody else has just either accepted or ignored.
Yeah. When I think some of what I'm doing too is like it's hard to even explain to people who are spiritual and in a different realm as well. Like because I feel like some of what I'm doing is just not weird, but like it's just I'm doing it in different ways. Like I'm
It's
creating this
your
program right
medicine.
now. What's up?
Your medicine. It's not going to look like anybody else's. It's not going to
Mm,
look like anything that exists before.
yeah, I guess I mean like I'm playing with completely different systems a little bit. Like I'm creating this program right now around creating containers like this one, for example. It's a container. And I'm playing around with this concept of like sacred economics for the pricing, which is not the same as sliding scale, but I don't know how to quite explain that to people. And I've tried a few times and they have not, like, again, spiritually minded business people, and they just can't even understand what I'm where I'm coming
Because they're
from.
still plugged into
Yeah.
this thing, right? The
But if those
colonial
people can't
masculine.
understand, like, I don't expect my dad to understand, but
Yeah.
if like people that are in the realm of like people I could explain this to and they still like I just like am I guess I'm feeling a little bit like impatient for the world to sort of catch up with where I want to be playing in as well.
Welcome to the last 2,000 years.
Yeah.
Are we fucking impatient? Yes, and especially those of us who have been waiting since like it's going to happen in 2012. Nothing. Do you know the fucking trauma that went through us as awakening beings then when like the whole world's supposed to change and nothing happens and we're all like, did we just make that shit up? Like what the fuck? And then you want to get to a 2020 where Q all of a sudden looks like this might be the thing where something's going to change and instead of anything changing, the impatience is the lesson and the teacher. I will say that.
Mhm.
I didn't mean to yell there, but like there is inherent in this the fear that we're wrong and foolish and fucking crazy.
Mhm.
Yep. And we do it anyway.
Yeah.
um, so remember that we're here too. If you want to get a group of us together, you could always put out a message and be like, hey, I'd like to talk about this new spiritual economics thing. Would anybody like to help? Have a
Mhm.
conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like you need some sort of input where like you're just like not, you don't have the whole picture. You know what I mean? Like you keep looking at it thinking you have the whole picture, but it just needs to be like spun a little bit longer. Like
Yeah.
like Andy said, have a group of people that want to talk about it and want
I
to
guess
go
I'm
into it. And then maybe even if it's just this one little tiny thing, it could
yeah.
ignite
I
the
guess
fire.
I found that like people have tried to like talk me out of that. And I'm like, no.
This is your medicine and your gift. Nobody can talk you out of it. And if they're trying to,
Yeah.
you're like, unsafe, please stop. Not,
Yeah.
we're not uncomfortable anymore. Now you're making me unsafe by making me question myself or causing me to question myself. That doesn't feel good. Please stop.
Yeah.
Because to bring a new economics in Yeah, it's radically different, and most people can't grasp it because we don't understand how money and exchange works, except with the programming that we've had for 3,000 years, 2,000
Mhm.
years. I mean, ever since taxation began, that's in my mind where all of this like problematic energy starts. As soon as we start doing taxation to fund wars, we're screwed. And we also don't understand a all barter system because that doesn't seem to make sense. Because yeah, I don't need your chickens. Thank you so much. I'll go to the store and fucking get chickens if I want chicken. Like I don't need that. So you're bringing in something radical and new, Monica.
Mhm.
The fact that people can't get it just shows the need for it.
Yeah.
And recognizing this time as your isolation for you to learn lived experience firsthand of the need for this as your own financial situation continues to be like scarier and scarcer, if that's part of
Yeah.
what you're having to learn right now. None of this is against you. None of this is punishment. None of this is without its relevance.
Mhm.
Yeah, and money shit gets real scary and weird, doesn't it? It gets primal whenever it doesn't really need
Yeah.
to, but it's and Russell Brand was saying that in his statement on the shootings, and he's like, the fact that we have a society where young men are have a propensity to do this because they're so scared of their ability to survive. This is a problem. And I think for women it's complicated in different ways because at least men have a different instinct than us. We're porous little fragile beings in some way where we have been used as weapons for a long time.
I had a conversation with somebody the other day, actually. They were talking about this like primal energy to like, I don't know, like eat a squirrel, like not like literally that they were going to, but this sort of like wolf energy. And I was like, I don't have that in me. And he's like, well, you're prey. I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, that's not the only like dynamic that can be at play there. Like, like, do I have to, be violent or overpower or be the reverse of that, or can I just be something completely different? Like,
Yeah, we're not still, yeah, we're mammals in one way, but we're also evolving mammals. So please, let's keep that going. Were we able to hold you, Monica, and not dismiss or not? Let me ask that different. What do you need?
I feel okay now. I just sometimes in these spaces, it takes me a while um to find a way to voice things, especially when what's in me to share is different from the subject matter that's being talked about. And I feel like today the call has been like very much this very this thing happened, and like, this is happening in the world, and then the like, oh, like, aliens, and like, and I'm sort of like feel like I'm kind of like between those two things. Like, I'm not paying attention to what's happening in the world, but I'm also not getting those other experiences right now either. I'm somewhere sort of in this middle ground of just like my own, you know dark and light at the same time.
And all of it's valid.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Thanks.
Thanks for speaking up. And I will say for myself, I automatically go into like psychic seer mode, and I don't know that that's always what you're asking for. So, should I go into it? You're like, bitch, I just need to talk back. Like, please pause. Please pause. I don't mean to jump into that. I think it's my way of love, right? Like, I want to soothe it. I want to make it better. I want to give some perspective. I want to remind you that it's going to be okay. Maybe that's not what you need. Maybe you just need to dance with all of these. Well, there's death and there's decay. So let me just say that. So you might be in a phase of decay still. And I find decay to be much more uncomfortable. Death is easy because death is like transitional and we know shit's about to happen. The decay of it, that's for me more uncomfortable. I think I'm happy to close up right here for the day. My body has I need to go to the bathroom, and my cats need to be fed, so we're gonna water in, water out over here. I love you guys.
Love ya.
Thanks for being here.
Love you guys.
See you guys soon.
See you
Bye.
soon. Bye.
Bye.